Trying to navigate through the holidays after the loss of a loved one can be devastating, overwhelming, and can cause anxiety just off the chart. The first holiday of navigating after the loss of a loved one can bring up all of those emotions. The second time you go into a holiday without your loved one can bring up all of those emotions. The third, fourth, and fifth holiday can do the same thing. So I don't want people grievers I want grievers to understand that just because I this is my first holiday without them, all I got to do is make it through this Christmas and this Thanksgiving, this Hanukkah, this Kwanzaa, and I'm going to be okay. That's not the truth, friends. And I'm just being honest with you because it's not just holidays, it's also special days. Today is the day that he asked me to be his girlfriend, and you always have celebrated that day as a couple. That is going to be a spot that's missing now in your life. So be aware and know in your mind that a holiday or a special day is coming, and it could heighten your grieving experience.
Not could, it definitely will. 1,000%. I I know I have a grieving season and it starts at Halloween and it goes all the way through New Year's. And prior to doing the work and really finding the healing, that I used to just shut down for that time period because it was so emotionally taxing. When we learned just by circumstance that we didn't have to do the same holiday rigmarole that we had been doing for years, that was a relief. It was a relief
Yeah.
when we started to change how we address the holidays and the special days and come up with new ways. It was so um, uplifting because you didn't have to be reminded about the loss by making the same meal that that person loved, unless that was your choice. You didn't have to. That was the part, knowing that you absolutely have choices. You could, instead of cooking the turkey that he hated, go get McDonald's hamburgers and have that because McDonald's hamburgers were his favorite. That to me brought a level to the healing that I didn't know was possible. And to me,
Yeah.
from that point on, I realized finding a way to connect to your person on those days is the biggest thing to get you through.
I love that. I love what you just said because it's so profound and it's so deep. Um, what the hell is a rigmarole?
It's like your routine, your schedule mixed with some mumbo jumbo. I don't know.
I'm usually the one that plans the holidays in this family, and so you just told me that I've been planning rigmaroles. Sorry, I had to say. I was like, "What the heck is she talking about? Rigmarole?" Okay, I agree with you. It is true. It's true. Okay, so let's go back to the beginning of what you said. Knowing that you didn't have to have the turkey was really deep for you. Understanding that you could do whatever you wanted to. But that's why we're saying it because for us, no one said it to us. No one said,
Mhm.
Erica, don't eat dry turkey. Donovan loved Big Macs. Get a Big Mac. That's what we're trying to tell our grievers. Don't do the same old rigmarole that you've been doing. Don't do the same old holiday. If that is not in your heart, then don't do it.
Yeah,
Create a new tradition. Create something new in your pain. Create what you can bear and what you can stand.
yeah, yeah. And that's what it boils down to. What can you accept? What is not going to break you and make you just go climb back in bed? Start going to Disneyland. For me personally, that wouldn't be a joy. I hate Disneyland, but I'm sorry, Disneyland, no offense, but it's not the happiest place on earth for me. But if that you can get up on Christmas Day, is Disneyland open on Christmas? I think it is.
Mhm.
Get him
But
and
the
go to Disneyland. What?
Denny's is now closed. I think that's great. Can you imagine a family that has just lost a child? We've got other children that are grieving, and mom says, I can't put up a Christmas tree this year. I just can't do it. And dad says, let's do something amazing with our kids. Talking to them about the grief that they've experienced all the way along. They get in the car and they drive to Florida and they go to Disney World and they spend the week there and they celebrate their son that they've just lost. And they buy a special ornament for him within Disney World that they know they're going to hang on their tree next year. And they go eat the Big Mac inside of Disney World because they know that that's what he would want for them to do. And they cry the entire time they're doing it, but they're together as a family.
Mhm.
And it's has so much more meaning. Everything they see has so much more meaning. Every show that they go to has so much more meaning. It doesn't take away the pain, but it fills your heart with where that empty space is.
And it's because of the connection.
Yeah.
It's because of Donovan loved this Big Mac and he loved Mickey Mouse. And I feel him here in this moment. And we're
Yeah.
all doing it together.
Yeah. And we're all doing it together. That's so huge. The truth is, you're going to feel miserable.
Oh, yeah.
You're going to feel really bad. Wherever you go, there you are. And wherever you are, you take your heart with you. And that heart, my friend, is broken.
Yeah.
You could Disney World, you could go to Europe, you can go to the Eiffel Tower. Your heart is still going to be broken. That's not what we're talking about. We're not talking about pretending like your heart's not broken and going to do the thing. Act as if your heart is broken and go do the thing anyway.
Yeah. I am not a big holiday person. God, I sound like such a Grinch. I hate Disneyland. I hate holidays. I am not a Grinch. I just don't believe in the commercialized parts of Christmas. Like, I don't think that when I'm shopping for Halloween candy, I cannot find it because it's been interchanged for all the Christmas candy. I don't want the green and red Twix. I want the orange and black Twix, please. Anyway, I digress. Because that's not my thing, when Christmas came after Donovan died, it would have made me feel 1,000 times worse to be in a mall somewhere shopping for Christmas presents, knowing that I already hated that process. And then I'm doing it because I feel obligated and like I don't have a choice to change it and do something else. I
Yeah.
would just feel 10 times worse. I would be in that mall with my broken heart, totally turning into a Karen because the lady in front of me just took the last sweater, that ugly sweater that I was trying to buy for someone that I knew I didn't want to buy it for. Ew, don't do that. What we
Yeah.
did was Lewis and Jordan got into hunting and they would go to the deer lease right before Christmas. And they would come home to have Christmas here. And then they would end up going back because the season ends in January. I then said, no, don't come back. I'll go with you guys. I'll just hang out and we can do whatever because I didn't want to do the traditional Christmas. That turned into our new tradition. We then started going out every Christmas. There was one year I made a roast and we ate roast sandwiches and we watched old movies and it was awesome. I was sad. But you have this beautiful Texas sky, which Texas just gives the most beautiful sunsets, beautiful mornings, and this quiet where I could feel Donovan, like how much he would love that area. I could feel how much he would enjoy hunting and being part of that. And I loved it. We finally got to a point where that was the year I was resisting, but we finally got to a point where Jordan said, Mom, I want to have a traditional dinner. And I was like, okay, I could do that. So instead of a roast sandwich, I did a whole meal and it was just the three of us. And it was awesome. One year, our brother was there because he also was part of the deer lease. And I think it was during Thanksgiving, not uh, Christmas, but it was just us and we had a meal. I mean, it was beautiful and I love it. And I love that that's our thing now.
Yeah. Yeah. That's your new tradition that came out of losing your son. So, one of the things that I often talk to grievers about is that one, sometimes we're grieving so deeply, we don't even realize the holiday's coming
Yeah.
or their birthday is coming or our anniversary is coming. Or we realize the holiday is coming, but we didn't make any plans for it. And so what happens is it's as if someone dropped 40 pounds of cement bags on you. You get hit with such grief that's unbearable. You can't manage that heavy weight and you can literally fall apart on that day. The second thing that happens to a griever when they know the holiday's coming or the special day is coming, they grip on tight. It's like, I'm going to hold on no matter what. And they hold on for dear life. And they make it through Christmas morning and Christmas afternoon. And it's almost like you and I can hear them going,
Yeah.
I did that. And the next day they'll tell us, it hit me the next day, or it hit me 3 days later.
Hmm.
Now I'm happy that I enjoyed the day or I made it through the day. Whatever the emotions are, they come up that day. My friends, the grief doesn't just happen on Christmas Day.
Yeah.
It happens 5 days before and 10 days after. It happens Halloween, Christmas, Thanksgiving, New Year's. They just hit you boom, 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 boom. And Lord have mercy, bless your soul if you've got anniversaries and birthdays mixed in there and special days mixed in there. We know what that is like 100%. And so Eric and I often teach, and I'm going to put the link to our holiday grievers guide on how to get um, different plans and ideas that you could have for the holiday. I'm going to put it in the link below. So please get that. We often get grievers that they shut in at this
Hmm.
time. They pretend like it's not even happening. I don't even want to pretend like it's happening. And they just walk away like it's not even happening. I think that makes your grief even worse.
It does because you can't really
Yeah.
ignore it. You can't. It's
Yeah.
everywhere. They're already playing Christmas commercials. You know,
Yeah.
like I said, it was Halloween. It wasn't even Halloween. It was the week before, and I'm looking for Halloween candy, and it's swapped out with all Christmas stuff. You can't ignore it. It's everywhere. Coming up with the new tradition has to be a family plan. It would have been crazy for me to say, I'm not putting up a Christmas tree. We're not having Christmas. And I have other children, and I have a husband who absolutely loves Christmas. It's not
Yeah.
fair. It has to be a family plan. There has to be compromise involved, but it's
Yeah.
also kind of fun when you incorporate your other littles, depending on their ages, and your spouse. What is this going to look like? What are we going to do that's going to make us feel connected to Donovan this year? what
Right.
what are we going to do? New ornaments? What's our plan? What's our new tradition? Because this point moving forward, if we're only going to have Big Macs on Thanksgiving, it needs to be something we collectively agree on. That being said, once you agree, if you do not do not fold because of other people's judgment. If your mother-in-law is throwing a fit because you're having Big Macs on Thanksgiving, that's your mother-in-law's problem. I'm sorry, mother-in-law, but that's the deal. Whatever tradition you guys agree on as a family, hold to it. Don't cave to the other family pressure because they don't understand the need to do this.
Only you, the griever, gets to make the say. Only you and your husband get to make the say if you've lost a child. Only you, the wife, gets to make the say if you've lost the husband. Only you, the husband, gets to say what happens on the holiday if you've lost the wife. You consider other people's opinion.
Yes. Yes.
You, the griever, get to make the say. The other thing is the tradition doesn't have to be the tradition for the next 30 years.
No.
It can be something that just gets me through this year. it can be the new tradition that just gets me through the next 5 years. I can go back to the old thing. There's no law that says you can't go back to the old thing. Okay, this is how you're going to approach it. You, the griever, if you're spouses and you've lost a child, or you're the husband that's lost a wife, you're going to first approach it this way. Look at all the things you normally did in the holiday, what were your current traditions. Take an evaluation of your current traditions and look at the things that you know you absolutely can't live through.
Mhm.
I can live through putting up the tree. I don't want to do it. Then take that out of your tradition. See what you're left with. These are the things I know that I can't do. These are the things that I know I would like to do. These are the things I know I still want to do. You've got to break down that tradition into many different forms. And that way you can start to figure out what your new tradition is going to be. You start there. You start there for yourself. Now, once you have the list formulated, you then bring that list to the table with the
Mhm.
family. Hey guys, I know mom has died this year and Christmas is coming up. And Christmas was her favorite holiday. But I want to let you know I can't put the tree up. It is too emotional for me and I can't put the tree up this year. I was thinking maybe instead of putting a tree up, that we could go out as a family and drive around and look at Christmas lights and we could take the grandkids with us and I can enjoy the holiday through them. Put it out that way, present it that way. And maybe your daughter will come up and say, Dad, don't put up a tree. Let's have the holiday at my house this year. I want to do some of mom's traditions that she's taught me all these years. I don't know what that is going to be, but you start with yourself, the things you can and cannot do. Then you present it to your family, the things you can and cannot do. And from there, you're going to come to your new tradition.
If you're a supporting cast member and you are opposed to the tradition changing, have some empathy. It's not because they just woke up and said, we're canceling Christmas this year. It's because their heart is broken and they're trying to do the things that they can manage to get them through. Be understanding and hold space for them. Don't be that don't be the monkey wrench in the program.
Yeah. Okay. And so let's talk about that, Erica. What if dad says, I can't put the tree up, but daughter is adamant she put the tree up? She's absolutely adamant, I have to put up mom's tree. You know what, daughter? Ask dad if you can borrow mom's ornaments and have them at your house this year because that's the tradition you would like to do for this year.
Yeah.
I just moved to Texas last year and my grandchildren were in town. And I said, man, I really want to put up a tree. I don't know. I went back and forth. And you were like, hey, borrow my tree. I borrowed your tree last year.
Hmm.
Put it up. I enjoyed it. I didn't put one ornament on it. It was so beautiful. It's 7 tall and strung up with lights. My grandkids enjoyed it immensely. I packed it up back up beautifully, and my husband delivered it back to you. If your daughter wants some of mom's ornaments to put on her tree, let her have that for this year. It's
Yeah.
okay. Her traditions, daughter's traditions might be different than yours, and that's absolutely okay. You guys got to come to the table with an open mind without comparing losses and understand that she is grieving her own grief being felt at 100%.
Yeah.
And I'm my own grief. And you're also grieving two different Susans. I'm grieving Susan, that is my wife and my lover, my friend. She's grieving Susan, that is her mother and her friend and her mentor.
That taught her love for Christmas. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so her expression and the connection she needs is to put the
Yeah.
tree up. So, like you said, you've got to come with an open mind and an open heart, and you have to acknowledge that you're not the only one grieving. But that's why I said it needs to be understood why the tradition new traditions are needed. If dad can express, I just can't, it's going to break me, and daughters say, Dad, I understand, but I still really want to do it, can I borrow the ornaments? That's healthy. That's a healthy way, and everyone is speaking their truth, which is awesome. But if the daughter just is adamant and doesn't say, Dad, I need this for me, and it's just poo-pooing on dad, that's creating another layer of the grief that neither dad nor daughter and would want.
Yeah. I once had a client many, many years ago, and her husband loved the holidays. As a matter of fact, he was a perfectionist at putting up the tree. And she said, I can't do it. I cannot put up the tree. But the thought of not putting up the tree, Erica, was actually adding to her grief. And so she remembered that her husband had a little tree a little tiny tree that they would put up in the living room right at the entry hall. And she put that up instead in honor for him. There's
Mhm.
always a compromise, my friends. There's always a compromise, knowing that also the grief is going to be extremely painful, extremely painful. Talk about it. Be open. Be open to listening to the one another's ideas,
Yeah.
knowing that the only way you're going to get through this is together. If you are alone for the holiday season, or your spouse has died and you don't have children and you're alone, make sure your plan is to be with others for the holiday if that's what you would like. Because Erica always says, and I love this, if your plan is you're going to stay in bed and cry all day, that's the plan. And by all means, do it.
Yeah. There's no rules, which we have a podcast on that too. And that was one of the most liberating things that we learned, is that we could do whatever we wanted. And
Yeah.
I think when you look at it that way and you get creative with it, it can be beautiful, because for me personally, my ultimate goal was to honor the boys in the best way possible. And if
Yeah.
I am finding the connection and going out of my way to really bring them into the holidays, that was me honoring them. And I love that part of it.
This is another show, but I'm just going to tap on it right here. You said something to a client the other day that I thought was so beautiful. And you said, I'm living for my boys.
Oh yeah.
Share that in the
I
show
am.
right
I
there.
carry them in my heart every single day. And because they're no longer here, because I have chosen to not stop living, to continue to try to live my best life, even without them, every new experience that I encounter, it's for them. It's
Yeah.
I'm bringing them with me wherever I go, and all the things, all I share a lot of my Facebook. We did a lot of weddings this summer, and every new area I was in that I hadn't gotten to encounter, my boys were right there with me because I'm living for them.
Yeah. I thought that's beautiful. We need to do a show on that. Friends, we've got some stuff coming up. Eric and I have a webinar coming up. We'd like you to catch the webinar on how to survive the holidays. I'm attaching the holiday grievers guide here. Ideas. I'm setting up new traditions for your holiday. Please grab the link below. We have the Facebook group. If you are um, wanting to have a feeling of community, please join the Facebook group. If you just need us to help you walk through and create a new tradition for you, just reach out to us.
Yeah,
Eric and I would love to sit with you and just go through, okay, who you are, what you lost. Let us help you formulate a plan on how to put together that holiday. Hit us up in our link tree and you can set an appointment that way. Friends, we see you. We were you, and we've been you many times at our first holiday without our loved ones. And our heart goes out to you, sending you out love and a virtual hug at this very precious time in your life.
absolutely. This is a struggle that sadly everyone has to experience, because there's always going to be a first one and then a second one and then a third one. And so it just, the better prepared you are, it helps you get through it that much more, because it's just the option to cancel it. Sadly, that doesn't exist. I tried that too.
Oh, yeah, that's yucky.
Bye, friends. Thank you.
Bye.